It's just the two of us. Oh, there's everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Kay. Hi, David. Hi, Carly. We're going to have an intimate night. We're going to talk all about mindset tonight. Excited to have everybody. Hello, hello. Welcome. If you don't know who I am, you should know who I am because I think you're all on my mailing list. But if you don't know, my name is Michelle. I am a autism mom and life coach for parents of children with autism. Big shout out to all my masterclassers that are here tonight. We are going to be talking about mindset tonight. It's 95% of the game, I believe, is right here. 5% is the tactical. My mindset people can confirm that. So we're going to get cracking tonight. I want to coach as many of you as possible. I'm going to go through some of my tips and tricks to get us out of the mental rut when it comes to our child's diagnosis. I'm going to go over working with us. If you'd like to join the masterclass, we're going to talk about that tonight. And I want to coach as many of you that are willing as possible tonight. So if you want to be coached, what you're going to do is you're going to raise your hand and you're going to make sure you're in a place that is stable, like you're not moving, you're not in the car driving, you're not walking, you're just sitting somewhere. You have good internet, good audio and video. And if you want to be coached, you're just going to hit that little button on the bottom and it says raise your hand. If you don't want to be coached or you're shy, no worries. You can just use the Q&A button. You use that Q&A button, you can put your questions in there. All right, awesome. So without further ado, we'll get started really quickly. I disabled chat because I get very easily distracted and I want to stay in flow for you guys. I want to help as many people as possible. I want us to have some fun tonight and I want us all to feel better by the time we leave. That's the main goal of tonight. So let's get cracking. I'm going to share my screen. And we're going to get started. Oh, and we're going to do a giveaway, I think. I think we'll do a giveaway for a private session for everybody who came tonight. Master classes, you get to be in the raffle too. So if you stay till Q&A, you will get to be a part of the raffle. All righty. So do you see my screen? Jen is here. Jen's my right hand, my lady in waiting. Jen's going to be here to support us. And if you have any tech issues, just put it in the Q&A and she'll be able to help you out. Can you see my screen, Jen?
Yes.
All righty, so let's get started with my favorite subject, the Autism Mommy's Master Your Mind Workshop. All right, and this is me, if you didn't already know it. I'm Michelle Rogers. I'm an autism mom and life coach. I'm also the founder of the Champions for Our Children Masterclass. That is a group coaching program for parents of children with autism. We help you with all things autism related. That could be potty training, communication, problem behavior. I just talked to a mom today who's got feeding issues. Whatever it is that is autism related, we solve for it. And I not only provide you tactical steps to getting the outcome that you're desiring for these life skills, but I also help you with the thoughts that are going on in your head. Because what you learn and what we're going to talk about a lot tonight is 5% of the game is tactical, 95% of the game is mental. And if I can get this right, it's like gasoline on a fire. You're going to see a very different child and you're going to be a very different you. And what's great about my program is that people come in for very specific reasons. They might come in for the pie training, they might come in for the picky eating or the communication. But what they leave with is a skill set that once you've learned how to teach your child this one thing, you can take that skill set and teach them everything. And the biggest component to that isn't the actual steps to potty training or the steps to communication. It's managing your mind. So that's what we're going to talk all about tonight. And I don't know what that is, but that's the agenda. I don't know what this little thing in the corner is, but our agenda for tonight, I'm going to tell you my story. We're going to show a video. If you haven't already seen it, I'm going to share it. I love this video. I think it just kind of encapsulates our story to a T. I'm going to talk about the big three. This is a philosophy I have about children with autism. If they have these three skills, no matter where they land on the spectrum, they have a shot at a life of independence. And don't we all want that for our kids? We're going to be talking about the champion mindset tonight. I want to talk about what it takes to get in that state as a parent to help our children thrive. We're going to talk about the self-concept of a champion parent. I want to talk about how I identify myself as somebody, as a master problem solver. And it's not like I was born this way. I was born this like wacky energy. I was actually, my life created this. The life experiences I've had created this. And I want to share that with you. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the masterclass. If you want to learn more about our program, we'd be excited to have you. And then we're going to do our giveaway. We're going to do, I'm going to give away the slides tonight in PDF format to everyone who signed up, but we'll also do a wheel of names, and it's an intimate group tonight. So maybe you'll win. It's exciting. You would definitely want to stay for that. You have to be here live for that. And then we're going to have Q&A. I want to coach as many of you as possible. If you want to coach, you're going to raise your hand and I'm going to support you. And we can coach on anything. I'm going to push to mindset, but because most of the time you'll come in for pie training, but I know you need help with mindset. So I'm going to coach you on anything you want. Doesn't have to be on mindset, but I'm sure it's going to come back to that. All right. We're going to skip this slide because this is, do I even have the right one up? Yes, I do. Okay, here we go. We're going to start right here. I'm going to share my story. I remember when I got pregnant with my daughter, I felt so grateful and so blessed. I knew my life up until that point had been pretty rocky. I'd had a lot of bumps and bruises along the way, and I finally thought that I was turning a corner and God was blessing me with this beautiful gift of a child. And I just, yes, finally something was going my way. And then when she was born, she was just absolutely perfect. I had all of these dreams and expectations for her. I thought of all the things that I thought she was going to do. Yeah, good girl. Right after her first birthday, I started to notice her behavior changes. She went from, saying that. She was obsessed with Dora the Explorer, Mama, Dada. She was saying it all. Good girl, saying that. Hit all of her milestones up to that point. She walked at 1. She was eating solid. She just, she looked really good. And then I just remember her felt almost overnight or very quickly where her demeanor just changed. She went from this super happy baby to crying and tantruming, just frustrated all the time. And I remember saying to my mom one day during one of these tantrums, she's like, where did my happy baby go? But I didn't think anything past it. I think I was kind of not ready to fathom that something could be off, even though maybe the telltale signs were there. Dressed. You gotta get dressed. You gotta get dressed, honey. Time to get dressed. She started to lose the words that she had gained. She wasn't saying mama anymore. She wasn't saying that. She just seemed really disconnected from us. Instead of playing with her toys, she would take them, dump them all out of her toy box, and just start twisting them around her hands aimlessly with no intended purpose. It's really kind of in denial about it. And then I remember one day we were in the middle of a store, and all of a sudden out of nowhere, she just started screaming and yelling like somebody had slapped her. I don't even know what the problem was. And I was so mortified. I didn't even know what to do. I was so scared. I literally just left the half full cart in the store, picked her up, and just ran out of there. Never went to that store again. I just didn't even know what to think. And that was probably the first time it really kind of stung for me that maybe something is wrong. They diagnosed her. They didn't diagnose her right away. They said that she was too young for a diagnosis. I didn't even know what they meant when they said that. I was like, diagnosed with what? I just had no idea what they were talking about. And then they said, we'll come back in if you're not seeing progress. And I said, okay, And a couple of months later, I'm watching these speech therapists play with her on the floor. I'm not seeing any progress and felt like she was getting a little worse. And then we went for our 2-year-old wellness visit. And the doctor said that she was behind if she wasn't using 20 words with intent. And that was probably just the knife to my heart. At that point, I really couldn't deny that something was up with her anymore. So then I called the county back in, and she was diagnosed on the spectrum. And I remember that day, and it was worst days of my life. It was my darkest hour. I could easily say that as a mother, as a woman, as just a human being, it was probably one of the hardest times I had ever gone through. And I remember just being I went from being so happy with God, so thankful, to being so pleased at doing this to her and wrapping this beautiful gift He had given me. And for a while there, I struggled to figure out what this meant or what we were going to do or how this was going to define her. All those dreams I had for her future were just completely shattered. I just had no idea what was going to happen next. And I went from just hopeful to just complete blank when I thought about the future. One night I was thinking, I'm going to die one day, and who's going to care for her when I'm gone? And something about that thought just snapped me out of my depression and my anger and my fear and said, listen, we got to get to work here. I promised that when she was born, I was going to be the best mother I could be to her. And that promise hasn't changed. The fact that she needs me more now than ever, not less. She needs me now more than ever. And I didn't know at the time what we were capable of or what having those changes, that mindset shift for me was going to do. But I wanted to know that at the end of every night, I could look myself in the mirror with confidence and say, did you do everything you could, Michelle, to give her the best possible life? And if the answer was yes, then that was a good day. And I wanted to answer yes, 100%. And no matter where the cards fell, I know I could leave this earth saying I gave her everything I had, no regrets. And as I've navigated this world with her and walked away that day after having that thought, I really just grabbed the bull by the horns. I became her fiercest advocate. I'm not a special education master's degree teacher. I don't know I never had any formal training in APA, but I knew that I was going to learn whatever I needed to learn to be really strong for her. And Juliana lost all of her language. Cheerios? Cheerios? The one Cheerios. Okay. She was nonverbal when she was diagnosed. Cheerios what? Okay. What's it? We taught her sign language. Show me. Juliana, show me. Then she went from sign language to word approximations. Then she started to speak. I can't hear. She went from the most restrictive preschool environment. She was in a 6.4, most restrictive preschool, special education preschool environment. My name is. My name is. To now, where she is almost 8 years old. She's in the second grade class in a gen ed school, integrated class with typical peers. She speaks beautifully now. What did you like about the Troll experience? She has a personality. She has conversation skills. There's still things that we need to work on, but for the most part, her future went from black to now having possibilities. And none of that could have happened had I not kind of gotten out of my own way and really hit the ground running and started to take action for her. And I can't say that I can do that for every parent coach, but what I can tell them is I will have them feeling like I did, looking at myself in the mirror, you looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, I was everything I could be for her today. I have no regrets. And whatever happens, happens. It's really for us as parents to know we fulfilled the duty that we promised when we had these children. It's to be the best versions of ourselves, to live, to raise these children. I've helped now hundreds of mothers, coach them one-on-one to do the same things I did, to help them to be strong, to help them to craft plans where we're seeing constant progress. This is what I want to do. I want to give you the chance that Juliana's had. I want to give you every opportunity to give your child that kind of chance.
Happy birthday, love, Jane.
Happy birthday, love, James. Who is that guy? All right, let's get cracking here. Oops. Okay, sorry. Just got into it. All right. So I want to talk to you today about why you might be here. You might be here because you want your child to be potty trained, but you keep failing. You want your child communicating and to be as independent as possible. You might be here because you want to stop feeling guilty and blaming yourself for where your child is. And I'm just going to do something a little crazy here tonight. You want to stop feeling lost on how to get your child the essential life skills that you want, that you know that they're capable of, and they need this for their life of independence. You might be here because you want to feel confident about their future will look like when you're not here. It was a huge one for me. You might be here because you want some reassurance for yourself as their parent. You might be here because you want to stop feeling like every bad thing in the world is going to happen to them. And you might be here because you want to stop feeling like people are judging you and your child everywhere you go and comparing your child to everyone else too. So if you're feeling like that and you're here, I'm here to help you tonight. And one of the most important things that I teach in the masterclass, and my masterclasses can speak to this, the ones that are here tonight, is that we've got to start here. The work has to start here. If I want my child potty trained, if I want my child communicating, if I want my child stopping problem behaviors, the work starts with my beliefs. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And that's what I want to help you with. But before we even get into that, I want to talk about a philosophy I have. And welcome all of my Instagram live watchers. We are live in our Zoom room. We're having a Q&A and a workshop tonight on mindset. You can go to the link in my bio and join us live, and you can actually get coached tonight. So welcome to you guys. So what I want to talk about before we dive into the actual mindset part of this is I want to talk about a philosophy I have. And this is my belief that if every child on the spectrum has these 3 skills, they're going to have a life of independence. The first one is communication. The second one is there's no problem behavior, or problem behaviors are next to 0. And the third is potty training. And if your child has these 3 skills, their chances of an independent life increase dramatically. I would even dare to say I've never met a child that has these skills that can't be independent. This is what's possible for your baby. And this is what we strive for in the masterclass. But for me to get you to that point, you got to start believing that this is possible. So why is it that we struggle so much with the big 3? A lot of you guys come to me with one of those. You might even come to me with eloping, which I would consider problem behavior. You might come to me with picky eating. And one of the biggest problems with why parents can't get these life skills done is our mindset is the gatekeeper to the results we have for our children. Hold on, there we go. And this is the part I want to talk about tonight, which is the champion mindset. And when Juliana was born, I remember holding her in the hospital with high expectations of what her future could be like. And when she was diagnosed with autism at 25 months, all those dreams went black. Everything I thought that we were going to have, I thought was gone in that instant. And it was my darkest hour as a parent. And I thought Juliana's life was over, and I thought mine was too. I was mentally and emotionally in the worst space of my entire life. I spent the next few months in total grief. I believe that every parent who has a child that's diagnosed with autism goes through a process of grief. And we're not grieving a death, but we are grieving the death of the typical childhood that we thought our kids were going to experience. And that night, one night I put the babies to bed, and I remember having that thought I talked about in that video that I'm going to die one day, and who's going to care for her like her mom? Who's going to care for her when I'm gone? And there's something about this thought that snapped me out of my grief, and it made me jump into action. I still had no clue what was going to happen, but I knew if I stayed in grief, if I continued on this path and completely checked out, my daughter's life and her future were finished. I could not stay there. But whether it was this thought or something else, I knew in my heart of hearts I would never stay in a dark place. I'm going to explain to you why. I literally have to reverse engineer my brain for you guys so you can see the path that led me to the identity of this wacko that you see here today. This mama bear with big claws and big fangs who's going to do anything, will stop at nothing to help her baby thrive. And I want to make that you believe that you can be like that too. And that's with looking at your parent mindset. And this is a picture I took from The Matrix. Matrix was a movie 20 years ago. This is a child, looked like a little Buddha, and it looked in the scene that he was moving a spoon with his mind. And he tells us to not try to bend the spoon. That's impossible. Instead, only realize the truth, that there is no spoon. Then you'll see that it's not the spoon that bends, it's only yourself, your mind. And we're going to talk more about that tonight. I can't control that autism is here, but I have full control over what I want to think about it, okay? I can think autism is a death sentence, and that she's never going to be able to live a normal life. Or I could say, what if it's possible that she could have autism and be amazing? One of the best TED Talks I ever saw was by Temple Grandin. She is a scientist and a doctor and a woman had severe autism, still has autism, obviously. But she talks about how the world needs all kinds of minds. If you haven't watched this, I highly recommend it, because the world needs our baby. They can be major contributors to society, but I got to start believing that's possible. And I've definitely got to start getting to work on getting them those life skills to give them that opportunity to contribute to society. I've got to believe that that's possible first. And that's what happened for me. And that's what needs to happen for you guys too. If I can believe I can change thoughts, I think about myself and my child with autism, I can change the outcome from our baby and our reality. If I believe, like, listen, autism is here, right? I didn't sign up for this. None of us signed up for this. And in the 5 stages of grief, the 5th stage is acceptance, meaning this isn't right. This wasn't fair. We didn't sign up for this. Not in our family. There was no reason for this to have happened, but it's here. Acceptance isn't sexy. It's basically saying, like, listen, I don't agree with any of this, right? But what I have to learn to create with what I have. It's what is. And once I can accept what is, I can go to what I believe is the 6th stage of grief, which nobody ever talks about, which is creating. And I can create something beautiful, even with autism. And the gift and pain of human beings is we can hear our own thoughts. As far as I know, we're the only species on the planet that can hear its own thoughts. And this is an amazing, wonderful, good thing, right? But the pain of it is that most of us don't question any of the thoughts our brain presents. Our brain presents to us 60,000 thoughts a day. We're not going to remember all of them, right? But the ones we do remember, most of them are shitty. And it's not like our brain's a sadist. It's not trying to keep us in pain. But it's also not trying to keep us happy or elevate us or give us what we desperately want, which is our child on the spectrum communicating or potty training. Its job is to keep us safe. And the way it keeps us safe is it presents shitty thoughts to keep us where we are now. Because even though you may not want your child in diapers anymore, even though you may not want your child to be hand leading you to the pantry and you want them talking, you can survive where you are right now. And that's your brain's only job. So the pain of a species that can hear its own thoughts is we don't ever question all of the thoughts that our brain presents, especially when we know that's the agenda. It's not to move me forward. It's to keep me stuck. The gift of hearing all of our thoughts is we get to choose which ones we get behind and which ones we want to toss. And one of the best thoughts I ever had about myself, right? There's going to be great thoughts, which unfortunately are 20%, and the rest are shitty thoughts. And one of the best thoughts I had about myself for a long time is that I could be the exception to the rule. And this is just a thought I believe over and over and over about myself. It feels like fact in my body. And what happened was how this came to be is that between kindergarten and middle school, I was bullied nonstop. I could never get away from these bullies. Every day I'd come home crying. And I remember thinking in my head in my room while I'm crying, like, why isn't a grown-up or somebody coming in and saving me, stopping this injustice? This has got to stop. I can't live like this. This is wrong, right? And I'm thinking this all the way up until middle school. And I remember this day, it was just like any other day. I had this bully that was just nonstop. And here we are, and he's fucking with me again. And then sure as shit, I have the thought, like, God, isn't somebody going to stop this? A teacher, a lunch lady, somebody's got to stop this. And then I had this new thought. No one is coming. Michelle, it has to be you. And for the first time in my entire life, in that middle school moment, I stuck up for myself and I confronted this bully. And he never fucked with me again. In fact, he never did, and nobody else ever did again. And it started the identity of a person who could be the exception to the rule. When I say exception to the rule, what's a superhero? The person that was going to come in and swoop me out of here. Somebody who's different than all the rest. Somebody who has powers that nobody else has, right? So I was so obsessed with that, wondering when this person was coming. And then I became that person in that moment. That's what's possible for you. So by middle school, up until the age of 35, when I had Julianne, I was 37 when she was diagnosed. I was really practicing this belief. And when autism came, I had the same crashing, crazy depression, crying like you guys may have had. I thought it was Rain Man. I thought her life was over. I saw autism as this major debilitating disability. But even with that fear, by that point in my life, I was so practiced that I'm the exception to the rule, that I could create the exception to the rule. I could be the exception to the rule. And of course, if I believe that about myself, I also believe that Juliana could be the exception to the rule. Which, by the way, are all just thoughts I choose to believe about myself. I could believe I'm the victim. I could be waiting for somebody to save me like I was all those years. Or I could be my own savior. And if I can be my own savior, I can save my baby. And that's what I do. And I choose to believe this about myself every day. I'm a master fucking problem solver. There's not one problem that comes across my desk, my way, that I can't solve for, including autism. It's the reason why my girl is where she is today. And I assumed at the time when we got her first diagnosed, I had the thoughts, I was sad, I was in my shit. And I was like, nope, you got to get to work. You know, that thought, that scary thought I had, I'm going to die one day. Who's going to care for her when I was gone? That thought snapped me out of my shit. And I jumped into action. I said, listen, I don't know how this is going to shake out. But if I consider becoming a mother like taking vows. And when I was pregnant with her, I was so grateful to being pregnant with her. And I promised I'd be the best mother I could. And then autism comes and I'm like, oh, peace out. I didn't sign up for this. I can't be like that. She needs me now more than ever. And I am a God-fearing woman. I believe one day I'm going to meet my maker, and I don't want him to play the reel of my life, and my head's in the fucking clouds because I'm thinking autism is a death sentence, and I don't show up for her, and I don't do the things because I feel bad all the time. I don't want this for anybody. And when I had that moment, that turning point, and I went back to that identity of being the exception to the rule, for some reason, I just assumed all parents thought this way. And the first year when we were in the autism club, we were in early intervention, we were getting services at home. So by the second year, Juliana's language was just starting to happen. She was still signing. And I remember meeting other families, and she was in the most restrictive special education preschool. She was in a 614, the most restrictive. And I remember convincing some of the moms to go on a spa day with me. And I said, let's go on a spa day. We deserve it, right? And I'll never forget it, that 2 or 3 of the moms were in the hot tub, and they were talking about hiring lawyers to set up some type of situation where when they die, they can give their home to the state so their child would have a house to live in after they were gone. All of our babies were 3 years old. Let me tell you something. Like, I like being a planner too, but that's not planning. That's future tripping your child to the grave. You cannot assume that type of stance when it comes to autism, because that's exactly what your brain, that's exactly what the universe is going to give to you. And I always thought that that's how everybody, I thought everybody thought like me. When they said that, I was completely floored. I'm like, our babies are 3 or 4 years old. It never even landed for me in my trajectory that somebody would be thinking like this. And if I'm thinking like this, the universe is going to come together to deliver that for you. All right, no problem. We're just going to deliver an opportunity for you to give away your house to the state because your child's never going to progress. They wouldn't be thinking that if they didn't already think that autism was a finishing for their kid. I can't have you thinking that way. I can't give you the path to potty training, communication, or stopping problem behaviors if you've already given up on a limitless future for your baby. This is so huge tonight. This is why it's 95% of the game is not the tactical. It's that I got to start believing that it's impossible that they can't have a limitless future. And that autism is not going to define my girl, and shouldn't be defining your babies either. And you can't change anything for your child if you don't believe you can create change for yourself. That's why this has to change. That's why it's not just making the child do all these things. I have to believe that the child can do it. I have to believe they can do it first. Then the magic happens. When I change this, everything changes. You can't change that autism is here, but you can decide how you want to show up for yourself and your child. And only when you do that can you change your reality and the reality for your baby. And these are the things I've learned about Juliana. And this is what I've learned about being in this process and being a mom, an autism warrior fucking mom. And this is what I need you to be. If you're not showing up for your kid like that, I need you to start showing up for them like that now. And I want you to think right now, what are your thoughts about your child potty training, communicating, and not having problem behaviors? Do you think they're capable of it? Do you think you're capable of teaching them? Does autism mean diapers for life in your mind? Does autism mean a mute for life? Does autism mean cancer to you? The number one reason stopping your child from gaining these important life skills is your thoughts about the diagnosis. It's not autism that's the problem. It's what I think about autism that's making this, teaching our children these skills impossible. And that's what I want to coach everybody on tonight. I'll coach you on anything tonight. You raise your hand, I'm going to coach you. But I guarantee everything that I coach you brings you right back to a disbelief about your child. And your thoughts are creating the current results you have. And I need you to think about that. Start thinking about how you'd want to change. Your thinking needs to be setting yourself and your child up for success when it comes to potty training, when it comes to communication, when it comes to reducing those problem behaviors. And if you need a thought to attach to, I'm going to give you one. Presume competence. 2 words. I want you to write them down. Presume competence. If you're not sure where to go or where to start or how to believe something different than the shit you've been believing up until this point, believe that your child is in there. They understand everything you're saying, and they're waiting for you to put them to the test. They're waiting for you to make them meet their potential. And our thoughts have to be in alignment with the results we want for our babies. All thoughts our brain presents to us are optional. If you didn't know that now you know it. And you get to choose your thinking. You get to believe that you are like me, and a master fucking problem solver, an autism fucking warrior. And when I think that, I feel empowered. When I feel empowered, I take crazy sick action, and I get crazy sick results. And I help parents like you to think intentionally to get the results you want for your child with autism. And this is how the brain works. We actually have in my program, we actually have 1 call each week dedicated to talking about our thoughts. We break it wide open. It's such the gatekeeper to the progress you desperately want for your child. I got to get you to start understanding how your brain works so you can start understanding how to challenge these bullshit thoughts, attach to thoughts that are going to motivate you and keep you going. And the brain's job is to keep you safe. It's not about making you happy. And the way it keeps you safe is by giving you scary thoughts to keep you from moving out of the cave. What you currently believe right now about autism, your child's diagnosis, and their ability to achieve the big 3 is a series of thoughts you've just thought over and over and over again. What's a belief? A thought I've just thought over and over and over again. You've rehearsed it over time. And studies show we have those 60,000 thoughts a day. And our brain often misinterprets our thoughts as truths. Because you believe a thought and you keep thinking it over and over and over and over, you would think it's true, and it's not. This causes the most suffering in our lives. But you get to choose what you want to think. You get to choose to have different thoughts. If you didn't know that, now you know. You have the power to change your child's future and create different results than what you're currently experiencing with your mindset and with your thinking. Because your thoughts and the stories you're telling yourself are creating your current feelings. Your feelings are driving the action you do or don't do for your child. If you feel like shit, or if you feel overwhelmed, you're not going to do shit for your kid. Your action's going to be half-assed, rushed, or no action at all. And when I feel like that, the results I get are going to be shitty, or nothing's going to change. By rehearsing a new story of possibility created by different thoughts that leave you feeling less terrible, sad, and afraid, and more empowered, motivated, and willing, you show up differently for your child than you are right now. And what you do differently, results are inevitable. It's inevitable your child will potty train if you know it. My thought when Juliana was in diapers and she learned to potty train before she spoke. You don't need to be vocal to be potty trained. That's a big fucking myth. This was the sign we used for potty training. Is like the thought I had was potty training is not optional in my home. I have a newborn and she's 2 and it's time to go. She's showing the signs. Let's fucking go. It's not optional for me to have a child in my home that is in diapers longer than they need to be. And that thought had me determined. It had me motivated. I was willing to stop at nothing to make this happen. And this is an example of some of the coaching we do in the program. We like to decipher thoughts from actual facts of life. Facts of life are circumstances. These are the things that I could submit to the court of law as evidence. If I could submit it to the court of law as evidence, then that's a fact. My shitty thoughts that I've been thinking over and over and over again are just thoughts. But like when I think it over and over and over again, they feel true. So I need to change that. So I want to give you an example of how we kind of like bust this out wide in the open when you're in our program. This is a little model exercise, we call it. And a fact of life may be that your child's not potty trained, or they're wearing a pull-up. And a thought I may have about that is I've tried everything and nothing works. How many people here could say they've tried everything when it comes to potty training? And you really believe that? But nobody, and I've potty trained hundreds, I have thousands of people who bought my potty guide, hundreds of people have gone through the master class. I've tried a lot of fucking things and I can't even believe that thought. But some of you do. And when you believe that thought, you feel defeated. You feel like a failure. You're fearing keeping trying because nobody wants to keep trying if they think they're automatically going to fail. And the action you take when you feel like a failure and you feel defeated is you quit on yourself and your child. You chip away at believing in yourself to potty train. You're excusing your disbelief in the process not working, searching for processes, but what's the point energy, right? You're going to keep searching, but you already believe you tried everything. So even if I find something may half convince me, I'm already sold on my thought that I've tried everything. And nobody can fucking say they've tried everything. If anyone has the right to say that, it would be me. And I still have things I know are in my toolbox that we could try. I'll never stop for your baby. But I can't want this for you. You have to want it for yourself. And if I stay in this shit loop of thinking like this, then the result is the child's not potty trained and then continue to wear pull-ups. Now I want us to try on some different thoughts. And I want you to note the two things right here. The fact is the same for both parents. I have the default, I call it my knee-jerk default thought, which is usually the shitty thought, right? The old shitty thought. And the fact is still the same for both circumstances. Child's not potty trained and they're wearing pull-ups. And the thought I can choose to believe is I'm willing to believe in myself and my baby. And potty training is not optional. That's the one I had. I'm like one of these types that like, the thoughts I think that empower me are like step on your throat kind of thoughts. Like I really like make it like, no, this just not happening. We're doing this. That's how I am. And when I feel like that, I'm motivated. I'm willing. I don't feel fear. I'm determined. I'm committed. And when I'm committed and I'm willing and I'm motivated, I approach this process very differently. I take personal responsibility without blame. I look at other success stories. I work with Michelle. I believe in my child and myself. I accept accidents. I don't quit and look how it's not working. I always look for how it is working. We have children in the program, pre-verbal, severe autism symptoms. They can potty train like that, or it could take them a month or two. I'll tell you the main reason it could take longer for some than others is here. The quicker you're willing to change this, the quicker you're willing to believe something different, the faster you'll get potty training. And the result is we're going to have a child that's potty trained. Juliana potty trained with a sign. Didn't even speak yet. That's what's possible for your baby. Here's another one. And the autism diagnosis. Boy, right? That's a circumstance of life. We can submit to a court of law that I have a document that says my daughter was diagnosed with autism. You may all have that too, right? That's a fact of life. It's a circumstance beyond our control. That's also a fact of life, right? Something that we have no control over. And the thought I might have is autism shouldn't have happened to us. Why did this happen? Oh, I hate this kind of thinking because all it is just keeping you spinning in the mental mud, wasting energy there instead of taking care of your baby. And then when I keep thinking this thought on loop over and over again, this shouldn't have happened to us. Why did this happen to us? It's not fair. It's not right. I remember imagining when I was in this state thinking this and I was depressed and crying myself to sleep at night. I imagined the nursery at the hospital. And at that time, it was 1 in 66 children would be diagnosed with autism. I imagined like this grim reaper just kind of like standing over all of these bassinets and they stopped in front of hers. And what was the fucking chances that she was going to be the one? And how painful that thought was. And it kept me in so much pain. I just keep thinking stupid shit like this over and over. And there's my baby, drooling and spinning a toy in her hand, waiting for me to show up as her mother. So when I'm thinking stupid shit like this, I'm feeling resentful, devastated, depressed. And the action I'm taking when I feel resentful or depressed, I'm creating my own suffering by fighting what is, fantasizing about a better life you would have experienced. I should it all over myself, right? I'm not present with my child. I'm not seeing the growth that is happening in front of me. I'm not seeing her potential. I'll tell you, a lot of my parents will come in with the entry point of potty training, and that'll be their aha moment, like, oh my God, this baby learned how to potty train. I didn't even think it was possible. What else can they do? For me, it was sign language. When Juliana learned the sign for cookie, she learned it in a day, and then she had 10 signs within a week. I was fucking mind blown. this whole time, I wasn't even talking to her because I didn't think she could understand what I was saying. But just because these don't work, just because this doesn't work doesn't mean these don't work. And she understood everything I was saying all this time. And I believed otherwise. Because I believed otherwise, I took no action. And it took that moment for me to realize, like, she's in there. I gotta help her out. I gotta help her to come out and be a part of this life with me. And you not taking action when you feel like, shit, this is what's going to happen. You're going to spiral in the why me's. You're going to try and, just keep replaying this scenario over and over and over again. It's just going to make you feel like shit. And the result is both you and your child continue to suffer. When I think about champion parent thinking, look again, the fact is the same. I still have an autism diagnosis. Autism did happen, and I'm the best person to help my child. I'll tell you this one thing. Tears rolling down my face. She had just been diagnosed. And as soon as the therapist left, I ran into my office and I just started Googling, like I'm sure like all of us have done. And I remember later that night, his mother came over and she said, my mother-in-law, and she said, I'm really sorry. And I'm like, listen, it's fine. I already had this identity, guys, right? Even in that painful moment, said nobody could have a better mother for this than me. I believe that even in my sadness. And I want you guys to start believing this too. I'm the best person to help my child. Even in my tears, I said, you know what? Fuck this. No one is going to show up and nobody's going to do right by her like I will. If it's going to happen to somebody, I'm happy to be the one to do it because I'm not going to not help her. I didn't sign up for autism, but I signed up for my child. And when I had this emotion, and it was a roller coaster, I'm not saying this is sexy. It definitely wasn't. I still have tears thinking about it. I felt inspired. Accepting it isn't like loving and embracing it. It's not right. It's not fair, but it's what is. I have to learn that I have to create from what I have instead of dreaming about the things I thought I lost. And the action I take is to detach from making it personal. I see that there's never a better situation. You have the power to create the future you want for your child and your baby. You stop comparing to other children. You make decisions for your baby. I'll tell you one of the other things about, and we're going to talk about self-concept in a second. My identity as a mother is so fucking hard, man. I'm like, I am a woman with the highest tolerance for pain I know. Mental, emotional, physical. I can take anything and get back up, especially for my cubs. And the result is I help my child. I move the fuck on. I don't stay in this shit space anymore. This is what I want for you guys. You're not there. This is why mindset is the gatekeeper to the progress you desperately want for your child. So how do we rewire our brain? We got to start thinking, we got to start believing new things. We got to believe on purpose by challenging those shitty thoughts and beliefs we've thought over and over and over again, right? That's what I used to believe, right? I used to believe that because my child is nonverbal, they can't potty train. It's what I used to believe, and I'm working on unbelieving that. I want to create, like we call it like a bridge thought, because I can't just say, okay, I'm just going to believe what Michelle says. Everything's possible. Life's buttercups and rainbows. If I don't really believe that, if I've never thought that and never believed in that. So what I need to do is create a bridge thought. I need to put you one thought in belief that this is possible and keep you one thought where you're still where you are. So listen, I'm used to believing that my child can't potty train because they can't talk, but I'm working on unbelieving it. That's a bridge thought. Or I'm willing to believe that even though my child hand leads me to the pantry, that I could teach them how to use that talker. Right? I could be wrong about this thought that my child's just going to tantrum all the time and they're never going to learn how to communicate with me. I could be wrong in thinking that my child needs to be verbal to potty train. I could be wrong in thinking that my child won't potty train because I can't even get him to sit. I'm willing to be wrong. I'm open to believing that this is possible. I'm open to believing that a child who never spoke could learn to speak at the age of 7. And we're going to talk about that exact example. I'm willing to believe that a child or an adult, a child that was 15, that was in diapers till the age of 15, could finally use the bathroom and wear underwear. I'm open to believing that's possible, no matter where my child is, age-wise, no matter where my child is on the spectrum. And I need you guys to believe that today. One of the biggest things I always do when I think about this type of work is I want you guys to start stepping into the identity of the parent that gets shit done. What does she look like? What does he look like? How does he show up? How does she show up? How does she come to an IEP meeting? How does she talk to the therapist? How does she work with her own child? What does she do? Does she quit? Does she talk shit to herself and believe all the crap that her brain presents? Or does she stay in the land of I believe? I know what's possible. I believe my baby's a smart cookie. Anything is possible. And that's what I need you guys to start thinking about when it comes to your babies. And that's my workshop. And I want to invite you guys to take action and start working on this now. If this is one of your biggest hurdles as a parent of a child with autism, and you feel so stuck in the mental mud, you can't get out, that's why I do what I do. And that's what my masterclass is all about. And I want to share some information on that with you tonight. This is Mary. She was one of my masterclassers. Her son was 7 when we first worked together. He was nonverbal and in diapers. And within 2 weeks of working with us, he was fully potty trained. And within a month, he said, "Mama," for the first time. This is possible for your babies. And why would you join a program like this? Well, if you join the masterclass tonight, you get personalized strategies for exactly where your baby's at. You're going to get a potty trained child. So if you don't have a potty trained child, guess what? I have a 100% success rate for potty training. One of our moms just shared that in the Q&A. She joined less than a week ago, and he is pooping on the potty. When I talked to her, and I think I did record our consult, she thought it was never going to happen. She had no hope. And within a week, that boy is using the potty. He's pooping on the potty. I'm just going to get rid of this dog. This is what's possible for you. So now she and I can spend the rest of our time together. Now that we have an officially potty trained child, we can spend the rest of our time together working on communication skills, working on problem behaviors. 100% success rate for potty training and communication if you join the program. Once you join, you'll also start to reconnect to your child because communication is going to be in place. We're going to get to the root level of your child's problem behaviors. If they're tantruming all the time, we're going to treat it, not just treat the symptom. When life happens, because life always happens, we're going to get you back on track. If a regression happens, we'll tell you exactly how to handle it. That's what the masterclass is all about. And we're going to learn from trial and error rather than quitting on our kids. The only true fail of an autism parent is quitting. No one's allowed to quit anymore. You're in my program, you're not quitting. And we're here. We're going to teach you how to build that champion mindset so you no longer have to worry about autism every minute of every day. That's what my masterclass is all about. And you're going to get your independence back too. This is from one of my moms. Her name is Kim. She was one of my first masterclasses. And she said, when I first found you, Easton was 3 and I couldn't get a firm diagnosis. He had very few words, 0 social skills, and was not potty trained. I found you the same day as our IEP meeting. That day I was defeated and overwhelmed after they asked me to list some of Easton's strengths. I sat there in tears as I struggled to come up with an answer. I had to find help, and luckily I found you. It's been 2 years since I joined the masterclass, and today I had a meeting with his school kindergarten regarding his kindergarten placement. He's set to start in a general education class 80% of the time. He is fully potty trained. He has no aggressive behaviors. His speech is blossoming, and he tells me he loves me on a daily basis. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, had I not found you, we would not be here. I want you to know the work you do is so appreciated. It truly made all the difference in my life, and most importantly, Easton's life. You've literally turned our life around, and I can't tell you enough what that means to our family. You are truly a lifesaver. This is from Teresa. She had a 10-year-old who needed to be potty trained. And she said, my Ian, who is 10 years old, is officially potty trained. And 2 magical things happen. He watches videos of people opening and eating candy on YouTube. So he got a huge 1-pound peanut butter cup for Christmas, and it was the perfect reward for potty training. He gets a piece of that peanut butter cup every time he poops on the potty. For number 2, we implemented a token board system, and his reward was a local hotel stay with a swimming pool. And bingo, he literally went into the bathroom and took a shit on the toilet. I absolutely love this story. His teachers are just speechless because she's never seen such a quick turnaround in any of the children she's worked with. I cannot tell you how much joy, unspeakable joy I have in my heart right now for all of us. A veil of depression that I didn't even know existed has lifted, and I can see and feel more clearly now. This program we put in place is so much fun and affordable than any of the treatments I've paid for. This was a card I got from Juliana, speech language pathologist. I just want you guys to understand what's possible when I change this. These are the types of stories that we get, and we get it every freaking week in the masterclass. And this was the letter I got. This was a thank you card right before we hit kindergarten. We were working with the speech therapist for a couple of years. And she said that Juliana had more gains and skills than she'd ever seen in her 25 years of experience. This is what's possible. And this is what my masterclass is all about. And the way the program works is that you get 3 months in our program with guaranteed results. And what you get with your join, the first thing you get when you join is my lifetime access to my study vault of courses. I've got courses in there on potty training, communication, stopping problem behaviors, social skills, picky eater protocol, mindset training, right? Lots of this. Stop eloping, and I build it out every month. Juliana's 10. We're about to hit puberty with a side autism. It's going to be interesting in here. And as I build out this study vault of courses, you get lifetime access to this, and you're going to get lifetime access to all the new content I create as well. And you can just deep dive into it as soon as you join and just self-immerse, listen to it while you're doing laundry, while you're cooking, while you're walking, or you could take your time because you have lifetime access to the web portal. And I believe this collection of programs that I've created is really like what makes me the Harvard of autism. We have everything covered in that study vault. In addition to the study vault, if you join the program, you also get 3 to 4 live group coaching calls, and you're going to learn from me and my experts. The first call each week was with me. I'm an autism mom and I'm a life coach. You'll come on my call and we're going to start crafting a blueprint for your baby. We're going to help you where you are. I'm going to tell you what we got to do, and we're going to keep building on it every week until we get what we came for. Jessica came, I believe, to 1 call. She joined last week and her son is now pooping on the potty for the last 3 days. Kisses, Jessica. I'm so proud of him. The second call each week is with the BCBA. If you don't know what a BCBA is, they're teachers with a master's degree in ABA. ABA is the #1 prescribed therapy for children on the spectrum. I love it because it speaks to the primitive language of all species, which is behavior. So even before the language of verbal, right? Behavior never lies, right? Behavior is 100%. You know how some people say, well, talk is cheap, right? I'll believe it when I'll believe it when it actually happens, when people actually do what they say, right? That's what behavior is. That's why it's such a fundamental in teaching our children on the spectrum. That's why they don't need to be vocal to potty train. They don't need to be vocal to have a lot of the skills that we could start with. They just need to know, we need to know how their behavior speaks for them. And that's what these BCBA calls are. They're going to help you to get your child the big 3 with effective ABA strategies that you can do at home. And I have Armando, I have Melissa, and I have Stacy. And Armando is what I call our trifecta, because it's always nice. We have a lot of families with boys in the program, and it's nice to have a male that's also a BCBA. But Armando is also an adult with autism. He didn't speak till the age of 7. His mother was told he'd never speak. He remembers a time where he used to bite himself because he was frustrated because he couldn't communicate. Not only is Armando speaking now, Armando went to college, got his master's degree. He was in life skills classes till 3rd grade. By the time he got into 4th grade, a general education class, halfway through that year, he went into gifted and talented. That skill, that ability to be so sharp academically was inside him all along. Had his mother, had his family given up on him, he wouldn't have the life he has today. He's married. He has his own company. I think they're working on getting a house. This is what's possible for your baby. And you're going to get to talk to Armando because he's a part of our program. You get to hear from an adult living with autism what it was like to be a child and how to get through to that child. In addition to my call and the BCBAs, you also get a weekly mindset call. Hello, this is our mindset coaching call tonight. Of course, I have mindset calls, and we have mindset coaches. They're going to help you stay determined to help your baby. They're going to help you find those thought errors that you believe is truth and help you to get unstuck so you can start thinking new things, positive things about your baby. And when you join the program, everyone gets their questions answered. So in addition to getting lifetime access to the study vault, you get the 3 to 4 group coaching calls a week for the 90 days that you're in the program, but you also get monthly specialist calls. I have a nutritionist that is in my program. She hosts a call once a month. I believe there's a connection for some of our kids with gut health and cognitive ability. So you're going to get to talk to Greer. And we also have a speech language pathologist that's in the program that's also an autism mom. I'm not trying to just get people that just do this for a living. I want people who live this life like me and like you and like Greer and Jessica and Armando. And you're going to have access to them every month. And I believe starting next month, we'll also have a feeding specialist. This is why I consider my program like the end all be all. This is the place to come. If you are struggling, I'm going to help you. And everyone gets their questions answered. This is a group coaching program, but everyone gets their questions answered. And sometimes it's good just to sit there and listen. Sometimes it's good just to hear what other people getting coached helps you. But if you have a question every night you come on these calls, they will be answered. So if you join the program tonight, you get lifetime access to my study vault. You get 3 months of access to the 3 to 4 weekly group coaching calls. You get the monthly specialist calls, but you also get a part of my Facebook community. So if you have questions in between calls, you tag me in that group and I've got your back. You want to send me a DM, you want to send me an IEP via email, you send it. I've got your back. This is support to me in this program is my North Star. I want to see you win. I didn't create this to see people fail. I didn't create this just to be some woo-woo business. I want to see every baby. And I'm looking at my wall because I have pictures of all my babies on the wall. If that help. When you send your pictures, when you send me the pictures, I put them up on my wall. This is the reason I do what I do. I started this thing and like, God, if I could keep one kid out of a group home, I've done a good job. I know I've done that now for so many more kids than just one. And this is why I do what I do. I want to help you to believe in your babies like I already believe in them. So if you join tonight, we're going to do some specials. I love specials. Join tonight. It's 3 months in the program. Lifetime access to my study vault of courses. You get to 3 to 4 live group coaching calls, the monthly specialist calls, the private Facebook community, email access to me as well, and you get my action back guarantee. And that says if after 90 days you join the program and you don't get your child potty trained, you don't get your child communicating, you don't get your child, your picky eater to eat more foods, my guarantee is that if you come to the calls and you don't get what you came for, you either stay until you do or I'll give you your money back. That's how solid I am in what I offer. I'm here to help you move. I'm not here just to help you feel better. I want to do that. We're going to make you feel better, but I'm also going to help you to move for your baby. We're going to get results. That's why I do what I do. So if you join tonight, we've got 3 special bonuses to give you. You're going to get everything that's here, but you also get bonus number 1, which is a private session with me and a private session with Risa here. So they're 2 20-minute sessions. As soon as you join, you send me an email, say, Michelle, let's schedule that session. Let's go. Michelle, put me in contact with Risa. I want to start feeling better. You join tonight, you get these 2 additional private sessions. Bonus number 2, if you join tonight, we're going to make it a 5 months in the program instead of 3. 3 months is more than enough to get you what you need. We're going to get your kid potty trained. We're going to communicate. We're going to stop those problem behaviors. But if you want to work on other things, if you want to have more support, you want to be here longer, you love the calls, you're going to be in our program for 5 months. That's 70 plus calls to change your life. So if you join tonight, you're going to get everything here. You're going to get lifetime access to the study vault, all those group coaching calls, 3 to 4 group coaching calls weekly, the monthly specialist calls, the private Facebook community, access to me, our action back guarantee, the 2 private sessions, one with me, one with our mindset coach. You're going to get 5 months in the program, and we're going to do $500 off the program if you join by midnight tonight. So for you guys tonight, the investment is $24.97. That's the price with the $500 off, or 3 payments of $878, or 4 payments of $660. That's only $16 a day, 70 plus calls to change your lives. All bonuses go away after midnight. Jen's going to put the link in the chat box. You got to join tonight if you want those bonuses. If you're thinking, can I afford to spend the money on this? Or this is expensive. What does those thoughts mean to you? A lot of times when people say this to me, it's bullshit. Because the way it works is that I say that because I'm scared about something else. It's my knee-jerk thought to say, I'm just going to tell her it's too much money so I don't have to commit. Because I don't want to commit because I'm not sure this is going to work. I don't know if I can do this, or I don't know if Michelle can help me to do this. And this is what I want to say. I want you to think about, there's 2 scenarios where people will say this to me. One is like, well, I had one earlier this week. We're closing on the house. And I can't spend any money because we're closing on the house. And I understand that. That's important, right? We're getting a house. And you know the value in that. Because you want to make sure that happens, right? No matter what, that investment's happening. Because you already know the value ahead of time. This program is going to challenge you to believe something different that you've been believing for so long, and it's keeping your baby stuck. Money is never the reason, because if you believe the value ahead of time, like buying that house or saving for the Disney trip or replacing the iPad you know they love and it needs to be replaced because it broke or something new came out, you'll always find a way. And I want you to think about that when you say this to yourself. This is an investment. I'm not going to deny that either, but it's an investment in the way that you live your life and teach this baby for the rest of your lives. It's not just about potty training or communication. It's about learning the skills that I'm going to be able to take with me for the rest of my life raising this baby. If you're thinking, I'm too busy or I don't know if now's a good time, this one gets me every time, because either it's a priority that this gets done now, or it's a priority to find every excuse not to. You get to make that decision now. When is this going to be the priority, if not now? It has to be now. If you're thinking, I need to think about it, indecision is more dangerous, more damaging than a wrong decision. Because when I'm in the indecision, should I or shouldn't I? Shouldn't I or shouldn't I? I get this all the time. I'll get somebody who had a consult 3 months ago, join now. 3 months ago, I could have had your baby potty trained. When I sit in the shouldas or shouldn't I's, I'm not making any decisions. I'd rather you make a wrong decision. And remember, we don't fail anymore. When we're taking action, we can't fail. It's inevitable we'll get what we came for. Because either I'm going to learn with that action of making that decision, or I'm winning. And when I'm sitting in indecision, I'm not doing either. That's why it's so dangerous. So make a decision, whether you're joining me or you're going to go say no to Michelle and go find something else that helps you. Give yourself and your child the gift of a decision so you can start taking action to get these life skills done and get feeling better too. If you're thinking, I've failed so many times or I've tried everything, how will this be different? You have to understand, what if you do fail? And it's not failing, right? I don't believe in fails. The only real fail is quitting on your kids. The discomfort you fear experiencing, you're already living it with the way things are now with your child. Staying in fear is the reason your child's still in diapers. Being scared to fail because you failed so many times before is the reason why your child's still not communicating. You're looking at it as a fail. I look at it as, okay, I tried that didn't work, so I know I'm not going to do that again. All right, maybe I have to try all the things that led you to this moment, to finding me. That if you hadn't had that experience, you would have never seeked me out. What if that's what's going on here? Remember, no more failing. We're learning or we're winning. For tonight only, if you book into the program by midnight, you're going to get the program for $24.97. You're going to get those 2 bonuses, and you're going to get 5 months in the program. I hope you think about that tonight. And here's another thing I want to bring up is unicorn syndrome. I get this every time. Juliana is different than my child. I saw the video, but Juliana is way different than my child. Juliana was diagnosed moderate to severe on the spectrum. She had language and lost it. We had to teach her sign language. She had to learn to speak again. This is what's possible for your baby. My child has severe autism, Michelle. So did Armando. Armando didn't speak till the age of 7. His mother was told he would never be able to live independently. He's what's possible for your baby. This works for other kids, but it doesn't work for mine. My child is broken or I'm broken. There's nothing out there that'll change the trajectory for my child. Unicorn syndrome is a self-preservation state. If I stay here, I never put myself out there to have these hopes and dreams for my baby. And when that doesn't happen, I can't be hurt. Subconsciously, I can't risk trying and failing because I won't survive it. Sitting in I don't know or asking shitty questions with no real answers keeps you stuck and not taking action to help your baby now. Indecision, very dangerous. It's keeping you second guessing and losing precious time that you could be making progress now. Nothing comes from an I don't know or a bullshit question you can't answer. Just decide. Decide you're not ready and you won't do the work, or decide you're nervous but you're willing to go for it. Give yourself the gift of a decision. Honor yourself and your child right now. If fears and worry are dominating your day and night, join me. There's something in you that identifies with what I've taught today. Listen, I'm a hard case. I ain't your friend. I'm going to be your coach. Well, you know what? I'm going to help you to save your baby. And if anything I said tonight connects with you and it makes sense, take the leap of faith and join us. Saying yes will have you and your baby moving forward today. For tonight only, you book into the program by midnight, 1 private session with me, 1 private session with Risa, 5 months in the program instead of 3, and $500 off. All bonuses go away at midnight. Be sure you join tonight. Links in the chat box. And I'm just going to take a quick potty break. We're going to show you a little video, and we're going to get right to some Q&A. My favorite part of the night. All right, so now, I guess, where are you now? You and your child, now that you've joined the program.
He's awesome. He is fully potty trained now.
So now if you go outside, it's not in full with us because we've learned to let him use the bathroom.
They're doing really, really well. Both are potty trained. I'd say 95% of the time, doing really, really well.
Obviously, potty training is huge. Just a lot of things.
He's fully potty trained. We go everywhere, just in our undies. We don't have to worry about that.
He honestly now is 85% potty trained. Now and then he has some accidents, but he pretty much is able to go on his own.
I was scared I was going to be one of those parents that their child was not going to be potty trained.
We did the 3-day intensive, like you suggested, and Ezra is potty trained, 100% no accidents for pee.
2 weeks ago, we completely removed the diapers in the night.
Yes, it's very exciting to have him potty trained, and that was our goal for our school.
I just want to say that within a month of being in the program, Jude was potty trained, both number 1 and number 2. He hasn't been in a pull-up for over 4 weeks.
Everything, we got the service for him in 3 months. He's potty trained, he's more verbal.
He's potty trained. I take him to the potty, he pees. He has no accidents, and he loves going to the potty. There's no problematic behavior.
And we're lock in step, and I think because he's got the pooping down and he's very independent of the whole process.
I started listening to the tips from Michelle, got involved in the course, and in the first couple of weeks, my son was fully potty trained.
And I know you're giving some advice to help him stay dry overnight, which has been helping. And it's been wonderful for me.
You and your team help pull that out. It's amazing. It's amazing what you guys do.
God, yes. That we go everywhere now. We have no diapers with us. I always just take a little spare underwear just in case he gets an accident. But he'll tell us. We'll go to the mall and he'll tell us that he says potty. Or he'll see a door that looks like it might be a bathroom door and he'll pull you in like he wants to go in there. And we go to the potty in the mall. It's incredible.
It has been absolutely life-changing for me.
Absolutely. Hands down of everything we've done.
You guys have a gift.
100%. I do recommend it.
This is going to help you. You'd be crazy to not get in this program if you have concerns about your child.
Absolutely. And I have already been recommending.
It's amazing.
Just do it. Yes, definitely. You guys need to do this program. It'll change you guys and your child's life tremendously.
All right. I got us going streaming on Instagram. I've never done this before, so it's a hoot. For anybody who's on Instagram, we are live in Zoom, and I'm going to be starting to coach some people. We're going to have some fun. This is my best part of the night, is me getting to coach everybody. So if you'd like to be coached tonight, you are going to raise your hand to be coached. I need you to be in a place where I can hear you and everything is calm. I need to be able to see you and have good audio and good internet. And if you have your hand raised, we're going to give you some coaching tonight. And I'm going to start with Julie W. But first off, before we start, are we ready to, Jen, do the wheel of names? Because we got some people here tonight, and we're going to give away a free session with yours truly. I don't know if you want it, but that's what you're getting. So let's see. We're doing some wheel of names here for the Instagram folks. And we are live. The link is in my bio. You can join in all the Facebook groups as well. And if you're in any of my Facebook groups, the link is there as well. Ali Betty, is she here? She's got to be here. Yep, guess what, Ali Betty? You have won the private session with me. So excited. You're going to email me at michelle@michellebrogers.com, and we're going to get that scheduled. michelle@michellebrogers.com. Excellent. And we are going to start some coaching tonight. If you want to coach, if you want to be coached, you're going to raise your hand. And how to raise your hand on the bottom is the little raise hand button. If you want to coach on anything, it can be on potty training, communication, problem behavior, feeling like shit here. I want to help you, and I want to help you to feel better. So we're going to start with, let's see, we'll start with Crystal Green here. I'm going to promote you to panelists. Your screen's going to blink and then you're going to come on live. While we do that, I'm going to look at some of the questions that have been coming through. Kristen Fletcher wrote, I have a 10-year-old who recently diagnosed with autism. She's very impulsive and elopes. Any tips appreciated? Thank you. So the idea with eloping, right, is that she's going and she's seeking out something else that's more exciting than staying next to you. So we've got to start working. What I did with Juliana when she did this, because yes, she did this as well, is I would actually go with somebody to like a Walgreens, and that has like a one way in, one way out kind of thing. And one person would stand by the door, and I'd work with her throughout the store, and I'd say, okay, if you stay near me, I've got your Snickers, I've got your Kit Kats, whatever, your M&Ms. Every time you stay close to me, when I call you and you come, I'm going to give you the sticker, give you the sticker, give you the M&M, give you whatever. And we just practice this going through the store. And then little by little, I'd let her go a little further. And every time I call her, she'd come back. And that's how we kind of solve for her eloping issues. So we want to work on that with your child. We want to give them a reason to want to stay closer to you. Okay. All right. Perfect. Crystal, are you ready?
Yes.
Coaching. All right. So tell me about you. Was tonight helpful?
It was somewhat. I realized that my son, he's 12. He was diagnosed. He was a little bit. He's nonverbal, and he was right after his second birthday. He was diagnosed. I knew something earlier, though. I knew something during infancy, but that was just. It was my first child, so it was blown off as, oh, it's your first child. He'll talk when he gets ready. He'll walk when he gets ready, blah, blah, blah. So I went through that whole thing, but I knew something. But yeah, my issue is he's still not potty trained. And I realized that he, in addition to not having the communication, he's also has behavior. So he doesn't have any of the big three. The potty training part will do good for a while. Like he'll poop in the toilet, consistently for a couple weeks. But urinate, on himself. He still wears pull-ups, and have to turn this down a little bit, baby. And so, and then we'll have a poop accident. We've been through the fecal smearing. We just maybe within the past 3 or 4 months, have eliminated basically the fecal smearing part. But just getting consistency on both number 1 and number 2 has been challenging.
Okay. So for number 1 and number 1, does he sit to pee?
Yes.
Sits to pee. And has he actually peed in the potty?
He has. He has peed on the potty. It's the consistency and them both at the same time. Like we'll get a good run with pooping in the toilet, but I'll have like wet mattress every morning, or you know what I'm saying, for a while. Or
so let me ask you a question. If you took him every hour, would you have a 100% success day?
Possibly, because I do see sometimes he'll go in the toilet. He's going in the toilet now because we're talking about it. He just got out the bathtub, so I know he don't have to go, but he might have to. So if I was to do it probably on the hour, I may have a couple, or I may have a damp pull up or a pull up with a little urine in it if I was to do it every hour.
Got it.
Yeah.
So what do you think the problem is? I mean, he kind of knows what he needs to happen here.
I hate to say it. I don't want to be negative, but I just think he's being lazy sometimes. I think he just don't want to get up and go. In some cases, like I think he just feels like, oh, I got to pull up on, so I can just pee or poop in here if I don't feel like getting up.
Got it. Yeah, that's exactly what he thinks, by the way.
Is it?
It's not that he's lazy. He doesn't see a reason why he would want to do it there. You're not giving him a reason to want to do it there. You've made potty training optional in your home. Where I said potty training is not optional in mine, you've made it optional in yours. And that's exactly the life you're living now. I don't have to go on it. I mean, if she asks me to, I guess I will, but I don't have to. She'll just change my diaper. And especially if I'm in the middle of doing something else, I certainly don't want to do it. I don't have any desire to learn something new. Living my life in diapers right now serves me well.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So if we know this, and what blows my mind here is that if you did take him every hour, you'd have like either a perfect day or an 80% or better day.
Right.
But if I have the belief that he's lazy, and maybe I have the belief that he has severe autism, that maybe I don't believe that this is possible. This is where the mindset stuff comes in.
Right.
And if listen, you've been in the club for a long time. You've been in the club
Yeah.
hard because you've got a child that and I want to ask about the communication in a second, but you have a child here that's been in diapers and he's 12.
Yeah.
This sucks, right?
Yes, ma'am. Because we've been doing grown folks poop for a long time now.
They're doing I bet you say a 3-year-old, when they hit 3, it's starting to look real grown up at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, the fecal smearing was, I mean, I almost was like, I almost did like a 72-hour commit one time because I was just like, I just can't deal with this. Like, I can't even sleep because I'm scared when he wakes up that he's gonna smear poop all over, his room and himself, and I'm a single parent, live alone, so it's all on me. So yeah, so I have to.
All the more reason, honey, but all the more reason why we got to get this done.
I know.
And I got to start believing in him more. The only reason this isn't done is because you haven't made it mandatory to be done. It's not that more so that he's lazy. He doesn't see why he should. You're creating an environment where it's optional, and that's what he's going to take. All right, if it's optional, sometimes I'll do it, and sometimes I won't.
I didn't think about that. I thought of it more as, I guess I was, like you said, don't take it personally. I guess I was taking it personally, with him, like he was just doing it because, mom cleans me up when they get done, and I don't have.
That's exactly why he's doing it. I take that very fucking personally because I'm the personal person cleaning it.
Right.
If I want to stop cleaning that, I've got to not make it optional to potty train. Now you live in my home. The rules of engagement in my home is that you use the toilet like everybody else.
Right.
So I need to change my thinking around this first. That he's more than capable. I guarantee you, there's parents on this call who die to have a child that can go on the potty when you take him.
Yeah,
and you're not taking him because you have all these shitty thoughts about him and about your situation. But because of your situation, where time is more valuable than money, right? Is once I spend today, I can't get today back. I can't think of a more important reason to make this the priority to get this done now.
Right.
Does that make sense to you?
It does. It does.
So really quickly, I want to talk about the communication part, because 9 times out of 10, when you have a child that has problem behaviors, it's associated with their frustration that they can't communicate.
Right.
So can you tell me more about, does he say words? Does he have sounds? How does he tell you he wants something? You're on mute, Crystal.
Okay, sorry about that. We were living in Missouri, and we moved from Missouri when he was about 9. And he had been getting ABA consistently at school, pull out, and at home. We moved to Georgia, COVID hit, so long story short, he had been without ABA after having it constantly for 7 years. He was without ABA for 2.5 years. 2.5 years. We just recently got ABA, but to answer your question about communication, gestures, pointing, and he's now using a device more. We're really pushing the device because now he is getting ABA, and I've been pushing the device, him using the device. But no, he does not say any words, although I have heard him say sentences. Like it's in there, but he only says, I'd say maybe I've heard him say sentences like 3 times. Like he told me to get out of his way when he was trying to get into the cabinet to get something to eat, and I was fixing dinner. He told me to get out of his way. But as far as like communicating, he was like your daughter. He had words and they disappeared.
So here's, all right, so here's the thing here. I mean, would it be fair to say that even if it's not functional, he could probably say anything?
I think so. I think so.
I mean, he could say, it's in there, get out of my way.
Right. I
So here's
think
the
so.
thing. Yeah, so here's the thing. And this is what I want everyone to understand. She described her child as nonverbal. When I think of the word, and I'm just going to put you on mute because I know you're working with your baby right now.
Okay. Sorry.
When I think nonverbal, when I describe my child as nonverbal, that feels final. That feels like something that can't be changed. And when we talk to her, he actually can say words. So that she's describing him as nonverbal means that she's showing up to what she believes is a child who cannot speak. And potentially nonverbal to her, which it would, I never even called Juliana that, and she was. Now I use it in marketing because that's how everybody knows it, but I never identified her as a child that was nonverbal, because to me that feels final. I mean, it feels like something that can't change. And she's describing her own son as nonverbal, but he can talk. He's just not using his voice. And the only reason he's not using his voice is because it's the same reason he's not potty trained. It's optional in her home to do so. And it's funny, when he will say something is when the desire is high. Like he wanted access to something and she was in the way and he said, get out of my way. That would be lighting a fire under my ass, Crystal. I'd be like, holy fuck, this kid can talk and say that to me? That means he could use his voice. So what you're doing, what she's doing with the communication device, we want to get when we have a child who has the ability, whether they have his skills or they're just making sounds or they're not doing anything. What I always envision with a child that's pre-verbal is like, here's thought and here's the voice. And the bridge, the neural pathway to both of them is dormant. And I create a bridge form of communication with the device, the AAC device, the PEC system, or sign language. And when I do that, that's how I get my child to learn communication first. That's why you don't need to be verbal to potty train. It's all based on behavior, right? When I touch the picture on the device, I get the cookie. If I don't touch the thing on the device, and I just hand lead you to the cookie, I'm not learning anything. I'm just doing more of the same. And if I might let that happen, I might let the child not use the device all the time because, hey, you know what? I think he's nonverbal. I think he's severe on the spectrum. This is why thoughts can make or break us. So I want you to really think about that, Crystal, when you're working with him, that you need to make it the absolute fucking priority. He gets nothing unless he uses that device. And I'm telling you, when you do that, you kickstart that neural pathway. And then what if speaking is in his possibility? I don't know, 1,000%. I believe that. Do you believe that?
Right. Yes, I do. I really do.
We got to start showing up as the mother that gets that shit done. No more optional to potty train, no more optional to talk.
Right. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It all starts here. That's why I said 95% of the game is in the mind. Was this helpful, Crystal?
Yes, it was. It was very helpful.
You keep me posted. I want to hear about this boy potty train. He's friggin' potty trained 95% of the way here. Get him out of them pull-ups. Put him in underwear. If he has an accident, he cleans it up. And fecal smearing is not the end of the world. I don't want you to be on a 3-day hold because of fecal smearing. That's his sign that he's ready to potty train. If he was knowing to poop in the potty, that wouldn't happen.
Right. Yeah.
All right. I'm sending much love to you. Keep me posted, Crystal.
All right, I will. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Kisses. All right, Dani, I hope I'm saying your name right. Hold on a second here. Actually, I'm just gonna hold on 1 second. I'm gonna promote you to panelists so we can see it, Dania. All right, perfect. Well, while we're doing that, let's see here. Did your daughter have a hard time writing? Yes, for whatever reason. Fine motor weaknesses and autism seem to go hand in hand. So what I would do is I'd play games that would require like the movements of her fingers. We would do grasping games. I would do, there was a game called Sticks, I think it was. You just have to like put your finger down and grab a stick. All these little fine motor movements. I would put a toy in the middle of a putty, like a TheraPutty, and you can go on Amazon. There's different there's different like textures of the therapy, and I'd get medium or hard, and I'd put the toy in the middle of it, and she'd have to pull the therapy apart, and then helps strengthen the hand muscles so that they want to write and they want to color. All right, Dania, you can unmute yourself. Are you ready for some coaching?
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. I wasn't sure if that was me. Yeah, it's Dania.
Dania. Okay. Hi, Dania.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? I'm from the UK. This is my first ever session that I get to speak to you. I'm so excited. So yeah, my son, he's 5. He just turned 5. He just diagnosed with autism. He is verbal, not proper conversation, but he is using words now. The problem I have is that he won't poo in the toilet. Whatever we do, he can pee, no problem. He goes to the toilet independently. It's just poo that is yeah, gets freaked out when he goes to the toilet for poo.
Okay. Does he pee? Does he stand to pee?
Yes.
Okay. If you ask him to sit, will he sit?
Yes.
Okay. And will he sit anytime you ask him for about like 3 to 5 minutes?
Yes, he's doing that now. That was not the case before, but now he can sit for a good half an hour if you let him.
Okay. So, he knows to pee in there. He knows you want him to poop in there. What do you think the problem is?
I think it's fear. I don't know what happened, but he was fully potty, trained poopy for about a month. Suddenly he stopped sitting for poo, and that's it. Since then he won't do it in the toilet. We've tried so many different things. Where
When you
before
say
he wasn't.
suddenly, yeah, just rewind a little bit. The suddenly part. Did something happen, or just it felt like out of nowhere that he just stopped wanting to sit?
Nothing really happened, but the only thing I remember was this was about a year ago. I think initially he was sitting to pee, and then he was seeing his dad. We want him to go with his dad so he will know how to do it, and he start peeing, standing up. Then I think that confused him. That's the only thing I remember that happened. Nothing else changed.
Got it. Okay. And what's the reward for going?
We've got bubbles. He loves bubbles. He loves the iPad, so we give him that. That's a reward. Also, yeah, he doesn't like any sweets or anything. We've got
if you had
sticker chart.
Yeah, if you had bubbles in one hand and the iPad in the other, which one would he grab for?
iPad.
Okay, got it. All right. So this is interesting. So just recently you got him to sit more because that was a problem?
Yes.
Okay. So that was exactly where I was going with this, because he has, I always teach people in my program, if they haven't started potty training their boys, to teach them to sit to pee, because they have to sit to poop. And he was doing that. He was doing it for 30 days. And I want you to watch, the mindset part of this is so important, because she said suddenly it just stopped, like it was a mystery. And if the brain presents it like it's a mystery, it's almost like it puts up like a wall, and all of the problem solving that you can do for the mystery is behind the wall, because I can't solve for a mystery. When I say it suddenly happened, it came out of nowhere, it's a mystery, I can't find the solve. Now, when she said that, I made her go back and tell me, well, are you sure? Like, what happened right around there? And then that's when it came free. This is how you kind of self-coach yourself to like get that log jam free of that shitty thought error of like, this has suddenly happened out of nowhere, it's a mystery. And what did you say?
Yeah, about the sitting and standing.
That dad started, he saw dad standing, he wanted to be like dad. And the next thing you know, he's not interested in sitting anymore, which is giving her the result of now he didn't want to sit to poop. So everything you say now, doesn't this make sense? Like, oh, okay, he had a lot of reps with sitting before, now he doesn't. And now he feels funny about it. He was only doing it for about a month or so until he stopped because he saw that dad wasn't sitting to pee. Doesn't this make sense? Like in your mind now, it doesn't feel so like mystery-ish, right?
Yeah, yeah, it doesn't. I don't know whether this is it. Now he confirmed it, so my thought, like, maybe, yeah, that's what it was. But I wasn't sure
Yes.
whether that was the case.
That's absolutely the case. So now we're going to talk about application for the rest of this to get potty training done, right? So now that she did what I would have suggested, which was, hold on, just gonna get rid of this little guy. The first thing you did, which I would have suggested, was to go and get him neutral to sitting, which is what you did. So over the last, whatever you figured it out, I'm just going to get him used to sitting. He doesn't have to eliminate. He's just got to sit. When we do this with a child, like I'll have parents will say, my child's got such severe autism, he runs around, he would never sit on the potty. This is your opportunity as their parent to practice instructional control. So what we do is we ask a child like that to sit. And if they sit for 5 seconds, then that's your baseline. You say, okay, he sat for 5 seconds. So then you set a timer, a visual audible timer, and you say, baby, if you sit for till this timer goes off and you're going to add another 5 seconds to it, you're going to get a cookie, you're going to get a balloon, you're going to get a piggyback ride, right? But first he has to sit and then he gets the reward. And then each time you run this program, it's a little program that you run just to get them to sit, you're going to increase the time 5 seconds each time, enough to get him to sit on the potty for 3 to 5 minutes, enough for a pee or poop to come out, which is what she's done, which is fabulous. So now we've got to go to the finish line. And now I believe this is an application issue. So right now, when he sits with the iPad, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
And that's how he sits. If you asked him to sit without the iPad, would he?
He would, yes.
For 3 to 5 minutes?
Even like 5 minutes, yeah. Yeah, he would sit.
Perfect. I love that. He can have a doll, he can have a book. The idea here is I want to reserve the iPad now as the elimination reinforcement. And that means if I'm going to make the iPad the end all be all, the reward he gets for elimination, that means he can no longer have it any other time. I'm assuming he gets some access to the iPad throughout the day?
Yeah, for about 20 minutes. We trying to reduce it. It was quite a lot before, but now we reduced it to maximum 20 minutes after school.
I love
which is
this.
around
I love an
4 o'clock.
electronics. I love a kid who loves electronics because they're always the first and fastest to potty train. So what I want to do is I want to start using this iPad as the tool to get this to the finish line. So here's what you're going to do. The rules of engagement are going to change. Now, I don't take the iPad from his hand tonight, but I tell everybody, especially for parents who give their kids the iPad and they get a lot of access to it, like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to take this away from them? Well, here's what you're going to do. When they go to sleep, you make that thing disappear. And tomorrow he's going to wake up, he's going to be looking for it, and you'll be like, I don't know where it went. And I make it gone for a couple of days. I want to really increase that desire. So when I reintroduce it, they're jonesing for it. Then you're going to say, guess what, baby? I found your iPad. If you pee on the potty, you get 5 minutes for pee. And if you poop, you get 30 minutes. How do you think he would respond to that as the reward?
I don't think he will fully understand that. He's not. He's understanding. He does understand basics, but I don't think he will actually understand the concept of time.
Well, he doesn't have to understand the concept of time with this because he already eliminates. He's going to know that once he eliminates, he gets access to it. And I want to challenge the thought error you have is that he doesn't comprehend because he's not going to be able to understand what I'm trying to say. But that's not true. Because if we want to presume competence, right? If that's the thought I'm going to give you, I want you to tell me throughout the day how that's wrong, that he can actually follow instructions if I tell him. Want me to help you out?
Yeah, please.
Does he like going outside?
He loves it, yeah.
So I say, hey, let's go outside. What do you think he'd do?
Oh, there's trampling. It will be, a lot of things outside in the garden. He loves trampling.
He would fly to the fucking door, right? If I said that?
Oh, yes.
Does that mean he can understand instructions?
Oh, he does. It's just that when I explain about the time that the 30 minutes, the 5 minutes, that's all I was thinking.
This is the thing, right? I gotta disprove the thought error that he can't follow instructions because that's really what you said. It wasn't like, oh no, now you're saying, well, no. He can understand instructions. He just won't understand this one. And the only way we understand any instructions is by having lots of reps of them, right? So but the first thing I have to disprove is the belief that he can't understand or can't comprehend instructions. And we know that that's not true, because if I tell him, hey, let's go outside, let's go, come on, let's go, he's going to get up and run too, as he knows that, because you've done it a lot. And that's the same thing with this. You're going to show him how this works. But you're not going to even believe that that would work if I don't disprove the thought error that he can't follow instructions.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I agree. This is different. He's never had to work for it like this before. So we're going to show him how this works. When you sit and you pee, I'm going to immediately give you the iPad, and he's going to pair. Oh shit, if I put something in here, she's going to give me access to my favorite thing. I love this. I'm going to do it again. See how that works?
Yeah.
And you're going to remind him, because he's going to go again. And you're like, hey, guess what? You earned more time with the iPad. And you're going to say, guess what? If you go poo-poo, you get it then too. Does that make sense?
It does. Absolutely.
All right, so here's what we're going to do for poopers. I love poop holdouters. I don't think he's going to hold out once he realizes this is what the reward is. The reward is key for a poop holder outer. First off, there's nothing wrong with a poop holder outer. It's most of the time this happens because you get more reps for pee than you do for poop. So it makes sense that sometimes people pee will land faster and poop takes longer. You only usually get one shot a day. If you're lucky, maybe you get two. And my kids don't even poop every day. So you're in a very good spot if your kid poops every day. You have a shot at this. Most of the time, he poops every day?
He does poop every day, and believe it or not, around the same time after school.
That was my next question. When does he normally poop? I love this. This baby's going to be potty trained in like a day. What time is he poop?
Good. So he comes home from school 3:30, so around 4 o'clock after dinner. That's where
I
he
love
eats
it.
his dinner.
This is hysterical. At 4 o'clock after dinner, this boy poops. So guess what?
Yep.
I know at 4 o'clock after dinner, I'm restricting movement. He's he's in the room, attached to the bathroom, and either me or dad are watching. And he's going to do what he does. He's going to like prairie dog it in the corner. He's going to try and go behind the couch, whatever he does. I love grabbing them right as they're about to do it. And I run them to the bathroom. And you know what happens with poop? I'm going to be real graphic here, but like, when it's halfway out, you can't really suck that shit back in. So as soon as he's about to do it, I'm going to run him to the bathroom. As long as some of that poop lands in the toilet, he gets the reward. And that's how he makes the connection. And that's how he learns to follow that instruction. I'm excited for you. You should be excited. Are you excited?
I'm so excited. This is exactly what I needed to hear. It was all in my brain, but I need him, I need to give him time. That's the thing. I need to give him that time.
Yes. And I love, a lot of parents get really scared or concerned if their kids love the iPad and then they want to restrict it. And I don't have an issue with that. I love having full control over something that makes them gremlin-like if you take it away, because that's something I could be using to teach a life skill. So instead of restricting it, how about I just change rules of engagement and I use this powerful tool to teach them anything. Do you see that?
And yeah, no, I see it. And you're a miracle. That's what I needed. And thank you so much.
No problem. I want to hear you send me an email when he's potty trained. He's going to be potty trained like a day. Well, you're like, wait a minute. I only get this shit for 20 minutes. Now I'm going to get it anytime I pee or poop. Where's the bathroom? Let me go.
I'm excited for tomorrow.
I'm hoping he's not in pull-ups. If he's in pull-ups, that's gone too. We're not making it easy for him to shit his pants. If he has an accident, he comes in the room and helps you clean it up. He cleans himself up. He shakes the poop into the toilet, and he's a part of the cleanup process. We want to create an environment where peeing and pooping in my pants sucks, and when peeing and pooping in the potty is wonderful. All right.
The funny thing, he clearly understands what he's doing. He does when you tell him who goes the toilet.
Isn't this hysterical? The same mom said that he's not going to understand the instructions. She's like, you know what? This little fucker understands everything he's doing. That's why it's all here, folks. No problem, Jenny. Keep me posted, okay?
I will. Thank you very much.
I want to get that email. I bet it's going to come in like 2 days. Guess what? He's done. Thank you. You're welcome.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
All right, bye. All right, Jessica, you're up. Oh, Jessica's masterclasser. We were talking about her earlier. I give her a little shout out while she's waiting. Any tips for full-time moms working? My 5-year-old is having such a hard time with potty training. Let me tell you this. I had a mom earlier this week or last week that joined the program. She said, Michelle, I'm resisting joining because my husband and I work full-time. Can this happen? It's so funny. And the way the brain presents it, like, Michelle, listen, I'm going to invest in your program. I work full time. Can this happen? And I'm like, not only can a single mom who works full time potty train her children, two working parents can potty train their children. This is a thought error. And the way the brain presents it, that's when you know it's a thought error, when there's a lot of drama around it, right? Like, I don't know if this can happen if I work full time. Last time I checked, you're off at night, or you have some time off each day, and you're off on weekends. All I need for an intensive is like 2 days, a really hardcore blueprint strategy, which I do with you in the masterclass, and we're off to the races. You join the program, 100% success rate potty training. I'll give you the money back. I love potty training. All right, Jessica. Oh, did I promote you to panelists? Here, let me promote you to panelists. Just kidding. All right, let me answer some questions here. Let's answer that one. Arena is doing so good sitting on the potty for 20 seconds now. Good girl. Oh, this is Kay. I love you, Kay. I'm very excited to have her sit without a diaper and for 1 minute. Let's go, Kay. Let's go. I love it. She's one of my master classes. See, we work on sitting first, then elimination. Jessica, give us a shout out.
Hey.
Jessica, when did you join the master class? This is hysterical.
I think about a week ago is when we started, and came in same on potty training, on getting my son to poop in the potty. So I talked with Armando and you, and we finally just removed his pull-ups and figured out what he really loves, which he loves to swing, and he likes his ice cream. So the reinforcer was we take away his swing, and the reward was ice cream. So we finally, I think it took several days and some accidents, but then with the help of grandma, he finally realized, oh, I'm not going to get to swing unless I poop in the potty. And on Father's Day, that was his first time he did that.
Oh my God. You know, I'm so happy. I know the backstory with Jessica because we know each other, that dad was feeling a little, and that what isn't that like the best Father's Day gift he could have gotten?
Yes, definitely. So everybody was super excited.
And the first email she sent when she started this is that she missed it the first day. Remember, you said it was a potty fail. And I said, don't call it a fail. Now you know that he's going to try and sneak a poop on you. And now you know you're going to keep a better watch on him. And how many days in a row has he pooped on the potty? It's a little chance.
3 days now. So, and it really is the mindset. And it was really interesting because Aiden hadn't pooped for 2 days, and he had a little bit of, like, I don't know if it was the heat or something, but he had a little bit of a higher fever. And my husband was like, oh, I don't know if we can do this. We probably should give him his pull-ups. And I said, no.
Yes.
Just trust me. We're gonna do this. No way.
And this is like and Jessica and I talked about this the night she joined. I said, you have to be the beacon of hope. If your husband is down, if your spouse is down, but you want to believe in that your baby can have this life of unlimited potential, unlimited future, and you have the partner that's struggling with that, you need to be the beacon. You need to be the strong one. And that's exactly what you're doing for him. And I'm so fucking proud of you. One weekend, let's go. Now let's work on the rest.
And then the other fun thing was the other day, I mean, we did make it, but he went out to the side, took off his stuff, and Ryan, because I told Ryan what ends up happening is when he takes off his stuff, then a few minutes later, he's going to go poop like outside. So he grabbed him, ran him inside, and we locked him inside. So that second day, he was trying to be all sneaky and do it outside again, but he didn't.
Oh my God.
And so we made it happen the second time.
Is it making your husband feel better, right? Starting to believe again. You be the beacon of hope. Bring him, you drag him kicking and screaming to the promised land. I absolutely love this. Great. We could spend all our time working on other stuff. Let's get his baby talking.
Yeah.
Communicate. Awesome. Thank you so much.
So we made so have success on that for 3 days. So now it's like, okay, what's our next step on that? Because we don't want to give him ice cream.
No. And listen to the thing, right? You don't have to give him like a whole like sundae, right? It could be just a little like spoon of ice cream. They're delighted. right? There's mini ice
Yeah.
creams, there's a spoon of ice cream, there's you have the swing as the backup. So what we want to do is, it's only been a couple of days, I'm very proud. Let's just get some more reps of this. And let's start
Yeah.
seeing what happens. I want to see if he does a little bit less undressing and more initiation to go. The more practice he gets, the more he's going to get in the habit. Let's get a little bit more going. Let's see, was it Wednesday? Let's reconnect on Monday, and then we'll see if we want to change anything. But I'm so flipping excited for you. This is what you came for, and you already fucking got it. So let's go.
Definitely. Will do.
All right, kisses. Keep me posted. Mwah, I love it.
Bye. Thanks.
All right, I'll talk to you soon. I love that. Oh. All right, one more for the night. We are going to do Nia. Let's see here. Kay, I love it, Kay. Did you have time? Already answered that one. Sabrina wrote, how many times a day you potty train autistic kids, and when is it good to show them to start early in the morning when they wake up? Yes, I start as soon as they wake up. In the beginning, when you're potty training for the first time, you want to do it what I call an intensive. I go deep in this in my program. I like to do like a 5 minutes on, 10 minutes off for any child, but like under the age of 5 or 6, because then I can ply them with lots of drinks and salty snacks. And if I take them in such an intensive schedule when I'm doing my potty intensive, that means I'm locked in a room, attached to the bathroom. One of two things is going to happen. Either they're going to be sitting on the potty and the pee's going to come out and they didn't realize it, and you're going to be there, so you're going to reward them immediately for doing it. Or they're going to get up after one of their sits and they're going to start peeing down their leg. And as soon as you see the pee going down their leg, you're going to grab them, run them to the bathroom. As long as some of the pee or poop land in there, they get the reward. Okay, perfect. And somebody wrote on Instagram, Pampers or pull-ups for a 4-year-old. Fucking neither. The underwear. Let's go. We're potty trained. You don't dip your toe into the potty pool. We're doing full submersion here. Pull-ups or Pampers. Come on, ladies. We need some underwear on these babies. All right, Nia, you're ready. You want to unmute yourself?
Yes. Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Has tonight been fun for you?
It has.
All right, let's hear about your baby.
Yes. I have a 4-year-old. He was diagnosed at 2. Everything has kind of been much of a struggle. We have been fortunate to get him an ABA therapy, which have helped tremendously. One thing that we do struggle with is feeding his food, him eating.
Oh, okay.
He's a very picky eater. He does have the habit of eating the same thing every day.
My daughter too. Welcome to the world of autism.
Yes.
Okay.
I will say that
I lost you, Nia. You there?
Some of that just because, yes.
Okay, yes.
I am the cause of some of that, I will say, because I guess I've gotten in the habit of just fixing him what I know that he's going to eat, as opposed to trying new things.
Okay.
But it's got to the point now to where it's really limited to where he's only eating peanut butter sandwiches, sausages, and crackers. And that's it. He used to eat broccoli all the time. I would at least put that in his meal every night. And now he's done away with it. He's done away with broccoli. He doesn't like carrots. We tried at one point. I was putting a different vegetable in every week. And then I gave up, and I'm trying to get back in the swing of how I can get him to try new foods.
Got it. Okay. Is there anything like sweet junk food he likes, or is it just the peanut butter sandwiches, the sausages, and the crackers?
Yeah, he will eat. I mean, if you give it to him, suckers. Yeah, he likes all kind of junk food. Any
So
junk food you can name, he'll eat it.
All junk food and chips too?
He doesn't eat chips. I would say that's the only junk food that he would not eat.
Cupcakes, candies, ice creams, the sweets.
Yes.
Okay. Anything these four. Okay. All right. And why do you think it's gotten this bad?
Because we've given him treats. Like I have gotten now to where when we go out to a grocery store or like a Walgreens or Walmart and he seeks out for those treats, I normally have his crackers on hand. I'm like, nope, you can have these crackers though. But I think we've throughout the years, last couple of years, anytime he sees something, we'll give it to him. Just here you go.
Okay. All right.
Here you go.
So that's very honest of you. I appreciate that. So let me ask you a question. You had said that you gave up.
Yeah, as far as like implementing different vegetables
Why?
throughout the week.
Why?
Because he stopped eating broccoli. And it got to the point where he wasn't eating anything. So I would just make him what I know he would eat.
Okay, got it. All right. So here's the thing. He's capable of eating fruits and vegetables and all of these things. This isn't an issue where if we have a child that has like, it's funny, I love it. Universal always sends me like clumps of the same problems in the same day. I spoke to her mom earlier, said her son had a severe feeding issue, and there were only certain foods that he would eat. In fact, he liked very creamy textures. And when she thought that about him, she's thinking that this is something very serious. And if she were to put a protocol in place for him to try new foods or change the way that he would eat the foods that he currently takes, he might become sick or malnourished.
Yeah.
That thought was stopping her from continuing on here. Your thought is interesting because we didn't really like hit it directly on the head, but you gave up. And I'm asking you why you gave up. You said, well, I gave up because he stopped eating it. But why did it become optional for him to eat vegetables in your home? Because that's what happened.
I got you.
So why did that happen?
Again, he was tossing it to the side. He wouldn't eat it. So, like I said, I gave up.
Let me ask you a
continue
question.
to put it on the
Yep.
plate.
So
Okay.
he's tossing it to the side, he's wasting food. You're done with it,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
If he didn't have autism, would that be acceptable in your home?
Of course not.
Of course not.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, Nia, what the fuck? I say
know
that
it.
with love. If
Yeah,
autism, she's giving him a pass because he has autism. If he doesn't have autism, this shit wouldn't be allowed. He'd have to eat his vegetables. And because he
Right.
goes out to Walgreens with her and I don't know what you have to think about. And this is where the thought work comes in for everybody. If I'm giving my child a pass to not show up and not do the work, right, of eating the healthy foods as well as the sweets, because I feel bad for him because he has autism, or I'm believing autism is the reason why he won't try other foods, then that's exactly what you're going to get. You see that?
Yes.
He's
Absolutely.
not eating any other foods because it's optional to not eat them in your home.
Gotcha.
So here's the thing. I
Okay.
love that he loves junk food. And I love that he used to eat some of these vegetables and now he stopped. Because guess what's going to happen now?
We about to start back.
Oh yeah, no, we're starting back. Yeah, we didn't know that was
Yeah.
coming. Yes, we're going to start back. I'm going to make him some of that broccoli the exact way I used to make it. And I'm going to go to Walgreens and I'm going to get that shit that he loves. Right? What does he love? Candies, lollipops, Tootsie Rolls, whatever, right?
Lollipops. Yep.
Go for the jugular. Get the thing that he would like Jones for if he saw it on the table.
Okay.
This is the thing. When we do a picky eater protocol, and I do this extensively in my program, we want to make sure the child is hungry. It works much more effectively when the child's hungry. I'm going to put the broccoli in front of him. And honestly, like I would do a bite for any other child. For this child, who's boy king in your house, right? I'm going right for it. And I'm like, listen, buddy, you want this Tootsie Roll? I need you to take a bite of broccoli. And I could do one little piece of the candy for one bite of broccoli.
Okay.
Or I might say, I want you to eat 2 crowns or however, or 5 spoonfuls, whatever, and then you get the candy.
I got you.
How do you think he would respond if you did that?
I think first off he will, start the tantrum. Like, oh my God, like I have to do this to do that. I think because he's gotten to the point to where he self-regulates. So he'll probably take 5 in his room. He'd come back and say, okay, let me just take a bite of this so I can get what I want.
Wow.
That's normally how it works. Now, sometimes the tantrums are longer, 5, 10 minutes, 15 sometimes, but I think it takes a while for him to, okay, now I get it. Let me go out here. Let me eat what I'm supposed to so I can get my candy.
I think that's how it's going to go down. Now I get it. He got it from the minute he started crying. He just knows that crying in the past gets him out of having to eat that shit. That's all that
Right.
happens, right? Crying isn't like, it's, oh, I'm just having this emotional response. I'm so upset. And he is upset. Don't get me wrong. He's pissed. You've changed the
Yeah.
rules of engagement around here, right?
Mhm.
And crying
Right.
used to work very well for him, right? And now it's
Right.
not. Now you're going to have, if you want to cry, you can. I mean, it's a waste of time because I'm not giving in to tears anymore. That's done. That ship has sailed, my son. You'll eat, if
Mhm.
you want that Tootsie Roll, you're going to eat that broccoli.
Right.
But the thing
Okay.
about the thing about a tantrumer, right? A child who tantrums, the reason he does this
Mhm.
because in the past somebody's given in to that, so he
Yep.
learned that behavior. And if he can
Mhm.
learn that behavior, he can unlearn that behavior. I have to
Gotcha.
start believing that. I have to believe these thoughts about him. I have to start really thinking about, why do I let him get away with not eating vegetables because he has autism? What the fuck does that have to do with not eating your vegetables, right?
Right. Right.
I'm not saying there isn't like fact behind children having different sensory experiences. That's
Mhm.
not what's going on here, though. That's the thing. You can't even hold on to that. That's not what this is. He'll eat hard. He'll eat soft. He'll eat whatever. This child is just in a world, in a kingdom where he just eats what he wants whenever he wants.
Gotcha.
So we got to just change the rules of engagement. So he is going to be mad. He's probably going to cry. He might even cry harder than he ever has before. We call that an extinction burst in the behavior world. Meaning like, what? I'm crying again. This ain't working. I'm going to cry a little harder. I'm going to cry a little longer. And you're going to stay the course. No, listen. This is what's for dinner tonight. So either you're eating, if you want the Tootsie Rolls, you get that. If not, that's what it is.
I got you. One more quick thing. I know we touched a little bit on as far as getting him to eat if he does eat tantrums. It's gotten to the point too where his SIBs are getting a little heavy too. How do we?
So like here's the thing, what I do is like, let's say the self-interest behavior is like him hitting himself or smacking his head or whatever. We're going to obviously redirect his hands. I don't talk to him when he's doing that. I make no eye contact. I block the hands. I keep blocking the hands until he cries or goes into his room and self-regulates or picks up the freaking broccoli and eats it. He's got to know that behavior no longer is allowed to get what he wants. It's going to take some training, but it ain't going to take long. Because if he really wants that candy, he's going to do anything for it, including eating the broccoli.
Right again. Thank you so much.
No problem, Nia. Kisses.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. No problem. All right. That's it for tonight. I hope this was helpful for everybody. Listen, if you love this, you like this crazy lady, and you want more of this, you want support with potty training, communication, picky eating, problem behaviors, you name it, I got you covered. That's what the masterclass is all about. Jen's going to be sending the link in the chat box one last time. I'd love to have you in the program. If you join tonight, you get $500 off the program. You get 5 months. 3 months is more than enough. Listen to Jessica. Her son is already using the toilet. She joined a week ago. You're going to get 5 months in the program, $500 off, and you're going to get a private session with me and a private session with a mindset coach. I hope you take us up on this. You got till midnight tonight. Kisses, everybody. Good night, everyone.